Hey everyone, it's Fun Around and my name is Jordan. We are off to round two of the WNBA playoffs. Round one went by pretty quickly. I'm not so sure about that setup with the home team playing two home games and then the away team getting that third game. It's a little bit weird, but I know it has to do with travel and everything, but I think they should do a best of five series. Just my thoughts. But we're here, and I know there's going to be a lot of people more focused on NFL Sunday. So I just have a couple picks here, and we're going to see how these games play out. We do have some historical matchups with these teams. We obviously have the Liberty and the Aces. They will be playing in New York. And that was the finals matchup last year. And people are saying that's the finals. Whoever wins that's going to win it all, but I'm not so sure. Connecticut and Minnesota have pretty good teams on the other side of the bracket, which are two pretty good defensive teams. Throughout the season, historically pretty good to defensive teams. But I just have a couple of picks because I know a lot of people are going to be focused on the NFL, and I kind of want to see how these games play out for the first game of this second round. And before I get into these picks, what I'm really looking out for is mainly the Minnesota and Connecticut game. For the Aces and the Liberty, if you take a look at all the lines, the main players kind of really struggle against those teams historically, like Asia Wilson. You could look more at her unders. She has struggled to score. I mean, not struggle to score, but struggle to get to her line. Same with Brianna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu. It's all very difficult. They know each other very well, so it's really tough with those players because you don't want to bet against them. Like you don't want to bet against Asia Wilson, but she's only gone over one time against the Liberty in the past two seasons with her points. So on the other side of things, the Minnesota, obviously Nafisa Collier went off against Phoenix. Phoenix was known for giving up a lot of points. I want to see adjustments be made like an NBA playoff. I was expecting some adjustments to be made by the Phoenix Mercury against Nafisa Collier, but they didn't make any defensive adjustments. She just kept going off. But I'm expecting Connecticut to put more focus on her and let the others beat them. That would be an NBA type of defense. We'll see what happens. But if they just let her go off again, then yeah, maybe they can't make that type of adjustment in the WNBA. I don't know. So I'm going to jump into my first pick. You'll see images that come up on the screen right here. That's from a data app called Outlier. There's a link in the description. That'll give you a 7-day free trial for Outlier. And my first pick for the Aces is going to be Chelsea Gray over 10.5 points, minus 113. I'm getting to this late. Lines have been out for a day or two, a day and a half, I think. This is actually a 9.5. It got bumped up by one, so that's unfortunate. But the history still looks good here. You see on the screen, that's her head-to-head versus the Liberty. She's gone over once this season and gone under once. They played 8 times last year, and she went over in every single game. I looked at her shooting last year, but you can see on that outlier picture, she had gone over in 84% of games. So I checked her volume. She was shooting 12 shots a game last season. And then this season, only over this line 45% of games, and she was shooting 8 shots a game. So a lot less aggressive. But I checked the last 5 games, and she's now shooting 11 shots a game. And in the playoffs, I know it's just 2 games, she's shooting 12 shots a game. So she's getting more aggressive again, getting back to where she was last year. So it makes me a little bit more confident in picking her. If she was still shooting just those 8 shots a game and kind of being passive like she's been this season, then I wouldn't like this. But looks like she's getting back into form. With the Aces, there's Kelsey Plum and Jackie Young. They look like they just kind of switch off games, and it's hard to pick which one is going to be the one that kind of disappears and the one that's going to, score a lot. And then Asia Wilson kind of does her thing and gets really close every single time to her line. And now we have Chelsea Gray, who is starting to become more consistent with this team. Her assist is a great play. The payout just isn't that great. And adding it on here, it would make it 16.5. So she would need 6 assists, and then plus she would need 7 to make it worth it. So it's a little bit too high for me. So I like the history here with Chelsea Gray. The matchup wise, clearly, Liberty are very tough against letting teams score, but this is just we're looking at the head to head right here, and I like her over 10.5 points. If you see it at 9.5 for a decent payout, I definitely recommend that. So like I said, for the other players on the Liberty, they've struggled as well, and they have some good games, but a lot of off games. So I would favor more and like an under for Brianna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu. And Jonquel Jones, like I would look for unders kind of on their points, because you're more likely to go under in this matchup. One of them's probably going to have a big game. So I'm going to stick with just Chelsea Gray here. And like I said, a lot of people are going to be focused on NFL. So I'm not sure how many people are going to be watching for Sunday anyway. So it's good for me to kind of gauge, how these games are going to be played. So if you could, please like the video. And if you haven't, please subscribe to the channel. If you have a little bit of extra time, could you leave a comment for the algorithm? Just leave the number 5, and that helps get this video out there for the people who want a little bit extra. That's not just NFL. And also, if you want to get away from Prizepicks and try out something else that gives you more options, better payouts, try out Underdog Fantasy, Sleeper, ParlayPlay, and ChalkBoard. Use promo code FINDAROUND11 on any of these. I'll match your first deposit up to $100. So there are links in the description. I'll take you straight there at the promo code. Thank you to anyone who uses those. So this next pick, I'm going over to the Connecticut Sun and the Lynx game. Like Alyssa Thomas, over 22.5 points plus assist at -114. At first, I just looked at her assist, and I still think it's a solid play. If you want a better payout, you can go with her assist. It's closer to -100, +100. But for her points plus assist, she has gone over in all 3 games versus Minnesota this year. She went over in all the games in the playoffs versus Minnesota last year. So the games that she did not get her assist line, her points were able to help her get over that line. She will not be the main focus defensively for the Minnesota Lynx. A lot of teams leave her wide open at the free throw line. If you've seen her play, she kind of just shoots with one hand. Not the best jump shot in the world, but she knows how to score in a timely manner when it matters. She plays most of the game if she can. If she's not in foul trouble, if she's not injured, she's playing 40 minutes. She's going to play the entire game. The offense is going to run through her. And with the way Minnesota played against the Mercury, those are actually some very high scoring games there. So Minnesota, they played at the fast pace that the Mercury were playing at, and they outpaced them. So I don't know if Minnesota's going to come out and continue to play fast like they were, because it was working for them. So they did allow a lot of scoring to happen, and Alyssa Thomas is going to be the one to distribute the ball, and she's definitely going to get her shots up, and she's been able to do it historically versus the Minnesota Lynx with a 90% hit rate over the past 2 seasons, and with the last year's playoffs and this season, 100% hit rate. So that's Alyssa Thomas, over 22.5 points plus assist. So I expect a slow-paced game, but we could see a shootout if these teams, decide to run a little bit. And the Lynx have shown that they can run and they can score at a high pace. So maybe they come out, playing like they were against the Mercury. And that was a part of why Nafisa Collier was scoring so much, was the fast pace. She got to the line a lot, almost like 14 times in both games. I checked to see if the very last game of the season, they played against Connecticut, and it was a hard-fought game, and Nafisa Collier went over with 25 points on her points line. And I checked her free throws, and she only shot 2 free throws and made both of them. So I'm not so sure if they're going to be fouling her as much. So I'm fading her points, but I'd like to see how they play her and the rest of the team. If they do put a lot of attention there on Nafisa Collier, then Bridget Carlton is someone to look out for, who's going to be shooting threes. I think she could be a good play. But overall, going to be two interesting games, and those are going to be just my two picks. Going to play it safe for this first game one of round two. And then as far as the recap goes, it's unfortunate we lost all those fast-paced teams, but because they're a lot easier to predict with overs for those fast-paced teams. So after the Sunday, we might be just going with a lot of unders. We'll see. But recap, Alyssa Thomas over 8.5 assists. That hit. Marina Mabry over 2.5 3-pointers made. She came up clutch near the end there. That hit. Natasha Cloud over 10.5 points. I don't know why it was that low after she dropped 33. She dropped like 16. That hit very easily. I also had her for 1.5 3-pointers made. So she over that. So she needed 2. She had 2 in the first half, I think. That was plus 100. Marina Mabry was plus 100 as well. That hit, and then Kayla McBride over 5.5 rebounds and assists at minus 140. I thought that one was done. Near the end of the third quarter, she only had like 2, and I was like, okay, this is over. So I went to sleep, but I woke up and she hit it in the fourth quarter. So she came up clutch there. So that was a sweep, and everything looked good. So hopefully we can just get a 2-prop sweep. Not too much to celebrate if that happens, but just want to see how these games play out, like I said. And also, I forgot to mention, if you'd like to discuss lines further, I have a Discord. Link is in the description. You hop on in there, talk about WNBA, talk about football, talk about college football, baseball. Playoffs are coming up. I'm excited with the Guardians. We got a bye, so that's nice. Hopefully they can compete, with whoever comes out of the wild card. But I'm going to get this edited and get it out to you. God bless you. It's final round. My name is Jordan. I will catch you on the next one. Bye.